Hello, and welcome to a very ill me.
Who are you working for?
I was working for no one. Anyway, I'm just gonna... Sorry, stop asking me questions. Alright, well... Last time I tried to record this, it didn't go very well. Because obviously I'm ill. It doesn't go very well. Basically what we're going to be doing is playing the Vietnam missions in Black Ops 1. And I'm not going to be talking, obviously, because I'm a bit stuffy and ill and so... This is actually the only Call of Duty game with at least some involvement in Vietnam to date. All the way back in 2010. This will contain spoilers, so if you're going to watch this, I'd highly advise, if you've not played the Black Ops 1 campaign, you go and watch the rest of it before you watch this. And it's multiplayer. Particularly up to Executive Order, as we're going to be playing SOG, or SOG, and the Defector, whereas Numbers is in...
We're running out of time.
It's not in NAM, so... These two missions in particular are all we're going to be playing today. And if it's a bit stuttery and there's a bit of lag, at least we give that, because this game usually runs fine. I think it's usually because of this game is actually kind of taxing on my CPU, surprisingly. It takes up about 70% of my CPU's power.
The Numbers mission, what do they mean?
So recording this is going to be a task. It's feasible, but it's there might be some stuttering somewhere down the line. So, last warning: if you've not watched the Black Ops 1 campaign up until Executive Order, go and watch it, because then this makes sense. We're going to be doing it on regular, because I really can't be bothered. We're doing it on only the harder difficulties today.
You know why you're here.
I'm just not feeling great.
Somehow I knew Dragovich was still alive.
He became your obsession. You spent the next 5 years trying to track him down.
He was everywhere! I couldn't get him out of my head. He's just like the others.
We pumped so much shit into him, he doesn't even know what he's saying.
Russians. Just always in my head.
No, I want to keep pressing you.
Hey! Who are you people? What do you want from me?
You want the Numbers, Mason. That's all we've ever wanted. Take us back again, Mason. After Baikonur, where did Washington send you next?
Vietnam. Fucking Quezon.
This was in 1968.
Yeah, I was part of the SOG unit led by Frank Woods. It was recon on covert Russian activity in Laos.
What about your CIA handler, Hudson? Was he in Quezon? Do you remember him there?
Hudson. And Mr. Shades. The guy was an ice cube.
This is the Psychedelic Music Show at AFVN. I'm Army Specialist Zach Johnson. Our APO here is 96309. If you send a request to that number, what we do is we open it like this. When it arrives, we read it, pull out that record, and play it on the air. Like this one, Fortunate Son by CCR.
Woods, he's here.
Mason,
Woods, you look like hammered shit.
sell cow for shit in the jungle. It's nah, baby.
It's good to see you.
Yeah, you too.
Jason Hudson, CIA. Thank you for your time, Sergeant.
Right.
I've already briefed Mason broadly about the situation.
Let me fill in the blanks for you. back in '64, the CIA gave up control of covert operations in Southeast Asia, handed it over to the U.S. military. From that, McAfee's SOG was born. Now, aside from being a base for the Marine Corps, Quezon is our launching point for all cross-border activities, mostly Laos and Cambodia. Missions are S&D, sabotage, black propaganda, strategic recon, POW rescue. Mason over here! Get him moving! Get him to the bunker, I'll cover you. Go!
Hudson was down and Quezon was under siege. But like with Weaver, you risked your life to save him.
Hudson was a fucking ice cube. That's why I like the bastard.
Your mission priority was to get to Kuwait City, but you all stayed behind to defend Quezon. That wasn't your objective.
You obviously didn't know Woods. You knew Quezon needed our help. There's no decision to make.
Okay.
I need to turn the camera off. This turns itself on every time. Is it? Right. This doesn't bring up settings when it is. Yeah. Because that messes with you. Messes with your sensitivity as well. There we go.
On station, please. Stand by. One, six.
Reloading, give me cover!
Hostiles, right here!
Tango down.
Out of the way!
Good shot.
Russians keep getting back. I need something bigger. On me! Russian men! No one ever gets forward! Grab that law, Mason! Get firing that train! We're out of time!
Hi, Hill! Good shot! Copy! Enemy down!
Tango, right side!
Got it.
All right.
Hill on the right!
Enemy down.
Affirmative.
Hi, Hill. Reloading. Cover me.
Enemy trench! Confirmed. Roger that.
Shit! Bastards ain't letting up!
Move! 10 minutes out.
We're almost out of ammo! There's a weapons cache in that bunker on the right!
Low on fuel.
But we can't get to it! They closed our right flank! Those barrels are full of napalm! Yeah!
Negative. I'm on final right now.
Good to know! Marines! Hold your positions! Fucking go!
He's down.
Rip him off!
Six right rider. What's your position? Just hang tight. Okay, standing by. Go, go, go! Marley, 10 minutes out. 1-7, this is Red Rider,
We're
over.
almost out of ammo!
What's your
There's a
status?
weapons cache in that
Low
bunker
on
on the
fuel,
right!
inbound 2
Damn!
minutes.
But we can't get to it! They closed our right flank! Those barrels are full of
Negative,
napalm!
I'm on
Yeah!
final right now.
We got pushed back before we could bury it! Good to know! Marines! Hold your position! Fucking go! Rip him off!
Six Red Rider. What's your position? Just hang tight. Okay, standing by. Go, go, go!
Now, Mason! Do it! Let's break these bastards up! Crash move it! We need to improvise, Mason.
Target down. Good work.
Think you need more! Shut up! Crash line!
God damn.
Marley, 10 minutes out. 1-7, this is Red Rider, over.
We're almost out of ammo! There's a weapons cache in that bunker on the right! Damn!
Stand fast, Shoot-Eye.
But we can't get to it! They closed our right flank!
Negative, I'm on final right now.
We got pushed back before we could bury it! Good to know! Marines! Hold your position! Let's fucking go! Rip him off!
Six Red Rider. What's your position? Just hang tight. Okay, standing by. Go, go, go! Marley, 10 minutes out.
We're almost out of ammo!
Red Rider,
There's a
over.
weapons cache in that bunker on the right!
Low on fuel,
But we can't get to it! They closed our right
Stand
flank!
fast, Shoot-Eye.
Those
You're
barrels
covered.
are full of napalm! Yeah!
Negative,
got
I'm on
pushed back
final
before
right
we
now.
Good to know! Marines! Hold your positions! Let's fucking go!
He's down.
Rip him off!
Six Red Rider. What's your position? Just hang...
Just be getting pretty bad stuff train. Hopefully that's not going to be a problem.
Hang tight. Okay, standing by. Go, go, go!
down.
Contact! By the barrel! Enemies by the trench line! No Pagani line, hold back this time! Left my feedback! Now, Mason, do it! We need difficulties. He's here! Trench line, move it!
I got him!
He's down!
Those are our own mortars! They don't know we're here!
Good shot.
Enemies by the stone!
Head down!
Confirmed!
Good shot!
They're taking fire! By that stone!
He's dead! Head down!
Move on!
Repeat, do not engage. Fire, put it right there. I'm coming around again. Stay with me. Belay that order. Get your ass out of there. Repeat your left.
On me!
More NPA moving in. Infantry and armor. They must have a fucking division hit out there.
And I thought he was a pussy. Now that's what I'm talking about. Jumping back, get on the toe. Yeah, but a damn sight more maneuverable.
Viet 143, authorization, Sierra Oscar, Golf X-ray. Priority 1 orders to my command.
Affirmative, X-ray. Engaging.
Use the controls to steer the tow missile.
Arc light, 5 minutes out.
Nice! Go ahead!
Arc light instrument A out. Keep your heads down, X-ray. Roger that, X-ray. Viet 143 standing by. Understood. Stand by, X-ray.
Keep it up! Correct it! They ain't over yet!
Arc light, 1 minute out. Affirmative, X-ray. Engaging. Get eyes on that hill. On flight. Coordinates confirmed. Engaging.
It's over.
This is the start of something else. They'll be back.
Bowman!
Nice.
You look like hammered shit, Mason.
Never do that to you.
Good to see you, Alex.
Jason Hudson, CIA. We're here to talk about your encounter with Russians in Laos. We got word a defector might be in play.
Bye-bye.
Today, communications are in chaos, and commercial flights from the airport have been canceled. While some
The Tet Offensive was the beginning of the end, when America really started losing the war. Inside the MACV compound in Way City, you established contact with the Russian defector.
No!
We know you did. He turned himself in at MACV. You were there, Mason. He had intel on Dragovich. Everything. But it was a lost cause.
Shut the fuck up!
NVA had surrounded the city. MACV had all but burned to the ground. The defector was surely dead.
He wasn't dead!
It was a lost cause, and you still went in. Why?
His protection team had gone dark. I couldn't accept that he was dead. I needed that fucking dossier!
The forces came under stopping the attack and forcing the battalion to return to the MACV compound.
Well. Wait. When this goes.
Way City. That's when things really started to unravel for you, Mason.
The defector.
MACV compound in sight. You are jumping into some deep shit, Woods.
We're here to yank a defector with vital intel on Soviet involvement in Nam. We lost contact with his security team. He may be holed up in the MACV safe room.
He's alive! We'll fight!
Dog X-ray team, hook up. Hotel 6, come back. Hotel 6, do you roger? Lima 9, Hotel 6 is gone.
Here, Spass 12, hold your incendiaries. Where we heading, Mason?
Lima 9er, I got eyes on X-ray.
Move out!
You got NVA all over the north wing, Will.
Light them up for us!
X-ray, you're clear.
Come on, move up! Out of the way, go! Bowman, northeast corner!
On the way.
The whole damn building's overrun! Dispatch, next floor down!
You think the defector survived this attack?
If he did, then he's one tough son of a bitch.
Fuck.
The defector survived this attack?
If he did, then he's one tough son of a bitch.
Damn it.
The defector survived this attack?
If he did, then he's one tough son of a bitch. Bowman, what's he saying?
Kill the civilians.
Your collaboration with the Americans is proof of your guilt.
Get down!
In accordance with party tradition, the punishment is to be carried out immediately.
Bloody MBA.
Bowman, what's he saying?
Kill the civilians.
Your collaboration with the Americans is
Get
proof
down!
of your guilt. In accordance with party tradition, the punishment is to be carried out immediately.
Why did we not shot a civilian? These not civilians.
Your collaboration with the Americans
Get down!
in accordance with party tradition, the punishment is to be carried out immediately.
I didn't shoot. You guys are seeing this, right?
Bowman, what's he saying?
Kill the civilians.
Your collaboration with the American
Get down!
in accordance with party tradition, the public safety will be carried out immediately. X-ray, this is Lehman 9. Anyone who doesn't get out soon isn't going to. The NVA have overwhelmed the entire north wing.
Roger that, Lehman Niner. Moving on.
Safe room, just ahead.
Molotov, at the window!
The safe room is down there.
Clear.
Safe room's been breached.
Grab some cover!
Lock it down!
So where's your contact?
He might have fallen back to the command room. He may still be alive. Let's move. On me. Got it!
The safe room's on the other side of the war room. RPG! Lehman Niner, sit rep, over.
X-ray, the NVA have retaken the MACV South. You are cut off.
Shit. Roger that, Lehman 9er.
You better get your asses in gear if you want an evac.
Let's go. He should be in one of these rooms.
Mason, take the door at the far end of the hallway.
Hold it, on me.
Oh god. In your face.
Mason.
Reznov. How'd you get out of Vorkuta? Never thought I'd see you alive.
Not are you, my friend. I am here with a warning. Your government would do well to heed. Dragovich is planning an attack on the west.
Mason, you get what you came for?
Dragovich, I knew we'd see him again.
His influence spreads like a cancer. Even the Kremlin does not know what he is truly planning. He must be stopped, Mason. Dragovich, Greshenko, Stein, all must die.
What I'm gonna say is that I'm gonna tell you who Dragovich, Kravchenko, and Steiner are. Steiner was a Nazi scientist person who was captured by the Russians at the end of World War II. And Dragovich, Nikita Dragovich, was a corrupt Russian leader, I don't know, general or whatever, who then sided with Steiner to turn on his own men, and Kravchenko is Dragovich's second-hand man. It's really not all that difficult.
Are these your men?
Woods, Bowman.
I am Reznov. Vic,
What took you so long, Mason? That intel better be worth it. Lehman Niner, where the hell's our pickup?
X-ray, be advised. Marine forces are engaged in heavy fighting west of the MACV. Push through to Rally Point Delta, 2 clicks north on the river.
We'll make it. You just be there. We're gonna need some close air support for this shit.
RG Texas, this is 1-5. We need immediate air support at Grid 70. Delta Oscar Tango.
Be advised, we do not have authorization in that grid. Explain to the shit, son.
Wow, not go right.
Pull it together and give me that radio.
What are you, SOG?
Just give me the radio.
Good luck with that shit.
Texas, this is Sierra Oscar, Golf, X-ray. Priority 1, ordnance in my command. I authenticate Golf 2, over.
We see you, X-ray. Support on the way.
Move out!
Multiple KHA. 0 is clear.
Keep on their nation! Do not delay!
Enemy down.
Got it!
Took it down!
X-ray, we have no visual on targets. Request coordinates over.
Texas, your target is tagged.
Clear, X-ray. We are engaging. Target eliminated.
Tango down.
APC!
Texas, your target is tagged.
Texas on its way.
Basic tech has them a bit right now!
Right, to our right!
He's down.
Enemy down.
Texas, we have enemy armor. At Victor Zulu, 7 Foxtrot.
Affirmative, X-ray. Texas raining now.
X-ray, move out!
Tank destroyed. X-ray, you are clear to proceed.
The LV's half a click away! End of the street!
Damn it.
Roger that, X-ray coming in for a tracing run.
Contact down.
Tank destroyed. X-ray, you are clear to proceed.
LV's half a click away! End of the street!
Texas, waiting for Ordnance Command, over.
Texas, ordnance on my mark.
We see you, X-ray. Support on the way. Evasive action! X-ray, we're under heavy fire! X-ray, the grid is high. RP Texas is pulling out. Take down that anti-air and we'll return support. Over.
Understood, Texas.
I see it! CXU! Second floor, in the street! We got a tank! Off the street!
Fuck!
Basic, gotta take out that CSU! Bowman, keep these guys safe! Got it!
Contact down. He's dead.
Reznov was here in Way City. He was the defector.
He came back for you, Mason. Reznov was back.
Still in one piece, my friend.
I'm good.
Mason! You okay, brother?
I'm still breathing. We'll see you at the rally point. Reloading, watch my 6. Reloading. The ZSU is right above us.
Put a charge on the ceiling! Blow the floor beneath them!
I got Charlie in my pocket here, 1-0. How much room?
Down 3 seconds. Ready,
Get to a
Reznov?
safe distance! Good work, Mason!
There's a ride.
I'm not so sure.
Get the wounded first. More birds on their way. Sit tight. X-ray, air support is offline while we evacuate the wounded.
Looks like we gotta wait. Everyone load up. I want this LZ secure. Mason, set up charges around the perimeter.
Get the wounded first. More birds on their way. Sit tight.
I'm sorry for taking the mic, but that's just hilarious to me. They say the most ridiculous stuff. It's amazing. Just never mind.
Here they come!
Enemy down!
Throw them back!
Target down!
Give me cover!
He's dead!
Contact down!
Hostile down!
Enemy down!
Throw them back!
Target down!
Coming back!
They are not retreating! They are regrouping!
Come on! X-ray 1-0! We got a prairie fire down here! Where's that damn evac?
This city's falling to the NBA! They're picking up birds right out of the sky! You're not the only ones trying to get out!
We have a prairie 1-0!
We'll find another way! Hold your position! X-ray! Your evac is on its way! Instead of returning to your home country,
burn them up.
Roger, X-ray, target run.
Leave the
Get your
arms,
people
man!
back.
Get your asses to the boat! Incoming! Danger close! Move it! Move!
Go to the boat.
Everything you got! Get in!
Dragovich.
So much for the tense ceasefire.
The enemy's courage could be the result of their newfound
To the
allies.
east!
Well, now you probably know why I wanted to play the Vietnam missions, because they are just nuts.
We have the dossier that the defector gave you at MacV. We've ID'd all of Dragovich's men. Kopchenko, Steiner, Clark. You know them. Masterminds of Project Nova.
Nova 6. Reznov called it Nova 6. Dragovich.
What do you know about Dr. Clark? We know that Clark was the chemical engineer who formulated Nova 6. Malignant narcissist, degenerate prodigy. Your handler, Jason Hudson, was sent to Kowloon to interrogate Clark. Do you remember?
Why keep asking? You already know everything.
No, Mason, we don't know what the numbers mean. We don't know where they're broadcast from.
Well, why don't you ask Hudson? Kowloon was his mission. He interrogated Clark.
There's Mr. Shades. Called Mr. Shades. There is actually a rather bizarre German rifle in this. And that's actually the G11.
Don't you morons get it?
No. Also, I have a feeling that Clark is actually voiced by but it's also voiced by Gary Oldman, because I can hear from that, like, he sounds a lot more like Sirius Black from Harry Potter than Reznov. Although I know for a fact that Reznov is voiced by that guy, so it would make sense. Although Clark is probably English and Reznov is Russian, so that sound pretty similar. It's kind of bizarre. But I'll actually go into the multiplayer, kind of, to show you the rifle I was on about. For some reason people don't really like it all that much, and I have no idea why. Because it's a pretty cool looking rifle, really. It's not the prettiest, but this is all my stuff. Mattel 16 L85 SAA prototype. This is modeled after the XL64 rifle. XM177E, a prototype Colt Carbine, which is what the Commando is in this game. Guns, which are just regular guns like any. This is one I switch around a lot. And L96A1, sniper rifle, or marksman rifle, really. It's not really designated as a sniper rifle. If anything, it should be a sniper's rifle, as the term sniper rifle really is a sort of generalization of many different rifles. But I'm getting off track, so we'll just go in this one. And this is, you want to get it after unlocking and buying all of these, and it's this thing. The Heckler & Koch G11, which is through reimbursed in game, but just excuse me 1 second. Jesus. But it's a prototype West German assault rifle that was actually tested by the US in the late 80s, I believe. Maybe mid-80s, late 70s. Maybe even very, very early 90s, like 1990 and early 1991, because the Soviet Union dissolved in 1991, and I believe in 1990 the German reunification happened, so obviously that would make sense. So it would have probably been anywhere from 1980 to early 1990, I believe. This was tested by the US military. Basically, you had 3 firearms. You had single shot and 3-round burst and full auto. Now, 3-round burst was actually fired at, I believe, 2,000 rounds per minute in the burst. So that you'd fire 3 shots before the recoil for the first shot actually hit your shoulder. The rationale behind that is that if you fire fast enough, you'll land all your shots before the recoil hits you and then affects your second and third shot. Whereas This in full auto would share its rate of fire with the AK-47, AKM, AK-74, and that is around 600 rounds per minute. This used a 4.73 millimeter caseless ammunition bullet. It's basically like a 4.73 millimeter bullet glued on the back of a solid block of propellant, which could chip and crack, and people were like worried that that might jam up the rifle. And it actually turned out that those were just bad rounds. They wouldn't actually really fit the rifle that much, if I remember correctly. Its magazine system is very similar to the P90 in design. Just excuse me for 1 second. I got some stuck in my chair, like. There we go. This was a magazine that was fed perpendicular to the barrel, and this was actually going to be adopted, hopefully, according to HK, by the West German Bundeswehr. However, German unification happened, and that in turn slashed defense budgets in half, because they didn't really need them anymore, because their neighbor wasn't trying to kill them, as they were now just one country. And bear in mind, in 1990, they're still using the G3, which is a 308 caliber, or 7.62 caliber battle rifle that's kind of heavy, kind of unwieldy, and useless in full auto. So, by the time everyone was using 5.56, Germany was still using 7.62. So they then dropped the G11. I believe the furthest they got was the HK G2 or K2 prototype. I can't remember if it was K or G. I think it was the K2 prototype, which was like final stages of production, and past 1997 when the G36 was adopted and designed. Well, it was designed in 1995. It was produced in 1996, and then it was adopted in 97. But past 97, they just dropped all the development of the rifle. So really all that exists of this is like, what, a handful of prototypes, and probably one that the US tested. Which is sad really, because this thing showed a hell of a lot of promise back in 1990 and 1991, because this was like a space age rifle, like seriously. It wasn't even like the M16 where it just looked really cool and black and mean and stuff and shiny, and it was made of aluminum, and it's like, oh my god. Nah, this was like Back to the Future stuff right here. This is like, for them at that point, they were like, this is basically the rifle from space. Because it looks it. I mean, it's just a box with a handle, and it has a magazine about as thin as, I don't know, let's see, like a thin stick of wood, like a thin stick of ammunition. You just shove it in there, and then you can fire 3 rounds in about 0.2 seconds. Like, it's just bad. And this in the game as well was an absolute monster. It can one burst people. And I think if you've already noticed, there isn't actually a charging handle on this thing. And that little thing behind the handle is what would have been the charging handle, I believe, because there's no visible thing. I mean, if you look at the grease gun, the grease gun had a lever and a bolt that you'd pull back with your finger on the A1. So, I mean, why can't the Germans do something equally absurd and unusual on their G11? I don't know. I mean, even the British it was what, submachine carbine, something like. Oh, it had a fancy name. It was like a pistol, but it was also a carbine because it could have a stock. And it was full auto. It was like 1,200 rounds per minute, and that had a bolt like the M3A1 grease gun. And there was also one by BSW, which had a handguard that you'd pump like a shotgun, and then that would be the charging handle. So, you know, there's a lot of odd firearms around, and I think the G11 is probably the more refined out of quite a fair few of them. I mean, the more unusual they are usually the older they get. Like the Thornycroft is generally renowned as the first bullpup rifle, as it was the Victorian British bolt action that had a magazine behind the trigger. I mean, you couldn't cycle it from the shoulder, but it was definitely bullpup. Yeah, bullpup. I mean, but when you see something like this from like 1980, 1990, it's like, that's so weird, and that's why I like it really, because it's like it's more of an unusual thing, and I think unusual firearms are much like older and more unusual firearms to me are much more interesting than like, I don't know, like these Americans with their AR-15s with red dot sights and laser scopes and angled foregrips and special CQB stocks and suppressors. It's like, looks cool, but it's not really all that interesting. Whereas you look at something like this, and it's like, how did this work? Like, you know, it's more intriguing if you look at something that was never really adopted, but was very close to being. Even though it was rather outlandish. I mean, this had a perpendicular barrel system, and its round was about the size of half your finger. So, you know, I mean, I think if this was to be adopted by the Germans, they probably would have had a pretty more modern, I guess, military. I mean, obviously they adopted the G36, the G36C, MG36, and the G36K or Kutz. The G36C is compact because it's a sub-carbine of the original rifle, and then Kutz is obviously in between the two because it's a short rifle, but it's not a sub-carbine. I believe there's 720mm barrel on a G36 and round 800 on a K model. I told you I know. Anyway, I'm just rambling at this point, so I may as well just end it here. I think I'm actually going to go around and play with this thing for a bit, because I want to play with it. So, yeah. Why not? I'll give it a shot. And if you have Black Ops and you've not already played it all that much, if you actually find a server with people in it, I think you should as well. Because this game's actually not all that bad, it's just, unfortunately, if you look at the player count, there's not really a lot of people playing anymore. Like, it's 3-digit figures, when you can get on Black Ops 2 and Modern Warfare 3, which I would believe, or I believe myself, are far better games compared with this one. This one's good, but those two are better. Have 4-digit player numbers. So, you know. But still, if you find a server with people on it, you should give it a go. Which is what I'm going to do right now, so farewell.